Hey guys, those of you that have swung by this channel previously will know that we do like our wood stoves, and we've done videos on the FLTOM, on the Danchel and also the Redcamp. Well, recently we came across this little beauty, and this costs just 70 bucks from Princess Auto here in Canada. Now this stove is actually made in China, and the brand is the Red Mountain Valley. It's about 18 or 20 inches long, the diameter is approximately 10 inches, and it's a perfect size for getting in those store-size logs for burning. Now it comes assembled as you can see here. The only thing that you do have to do is put on the legs and the chimney. It also comes with these carry handles. It is quite a weighty stove at around about 27 pounds or approximately 14 kilos. And it's also got this grill for cooking on. You can either cook on the flat surface or you can pull these back, and this is where you can hang things off to cook, or if you wanted to dry clothing or anything. Now if we take a look inside, this is where you'll find the legs and of course the chimney. It also comes with a little poker and also a rake to get those ashes out there once you've finished the burn. So I'm going to get everything set up for this first burn. The purpose of the first burn, of course, is to get rid of all those noxious chemicals so that we don't have problems with them next week when we use it in the hot tent. If we take a look inside, you can see that there's no grate with this particular wood stove. That may be something that we decide to add at a later stage once we've done the first burn. So if we take a look at what was inside, we have the poker, we have the rake for that ash that we talked about. This is the chimney. This particular part is the one that we have to screw onto the wood stove. I'll show you how to do that shortly. We've also got this rain cap here. This is supposed to be a spark arrestor. It's going to actually need some wire meshing around there just to keep those sparks in and stop it damaging the tent. You can also see that there's some letters on here. They're nothing in particular. This stove does come with instructions, and that's what these letters refer to. But as you'll see shortly, it's very, very easy to put things together. And the legs are actually to be found inside the chimney here. And I'm going to put those on the wood stove now. Now the legs, you can see, this bit is actually the part that goes on the floor. This side is open, so it's pretty obvious that that one goes in here. And all you need to do is tighten these wing nuts just to make sure that that's secure. Now all the four legs are in, I'm going to put the chimney on. So this is the part that actually goes on the bottom of the chimney. It's got the four holes that align with these ones here on the stove. It's got a little curve, obviously, yeah, fits on there like so. And then these little things, really easy to just hand screw in there to get things into position. You don't even need a screwdriver. If you do, you can just use one of those Allen keys, but otherwise these are perfectly acceptable to do just using your fingers. Righty-ho, well that's on there now, nice and secure. So I'm going to put this wood stove on the floor and assemble the rest of the chimney. So there's three more parts of this chimney. They fit together very easily. There's obviously a wider end and a more narrow end, and it really does just slot in like so. And then this will go on the top, like so. And given the height, it's definitely over 6 feet again. I'm going to need that step ladder to get this spark arrestor on the top.
One step ladder selected.
Okay, so now that's everything all set up, I'm going to get and chop some wood. You've seen me doing that umpteen times, so I don't think you need to watch me doing that again. I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I've got my wood ready. I'm going to load in the base, put on some kindling, and then put on some leftover hand sanitizer. Okie dokie, let's see if we can get this lit. We have flames. This is good. Whoa, look at that go. Okay, so these are store-bought logs, and as you can see, they go in there and fit perfectly without any problems whatsoever. I'm going to close the door now. This is obviously the damper that controls the airflow to make sure that the flames get going. And you can either get the fire roaring or let it calm down a little bit so that you don't burn through that wood quite as quickly. Well, this has been burning for around about 5 minutes now, and already we can start seeing that the smoke's coming out of there, and I can certainly smell those chemicals and the paint starting to burn. I mentioned a little earlier about the grill. If you did want to cook anything, this is like the flat surface that you can use. You can also pull these back, as I mentioned, if you wanted to cook toast or anything like that. Now, one of the things you may have noticed are these little tubes here. Apparently, they are for cooking potatoes. Now, I'm not quite sure how big potatoes are in China, but certainly here in Canada, they're a little bit bigger than what these would seem to indicate. So good luck with that if you do decide to cook up any spuds at any time. Well, I'm going to put some water on here now, and I'm going to see just how long it takes to boil, and then we're going to have a bit of a brew before we get any of this slitty snow that we're expecting shortly. Don't tell Greta. Okay, so this has been burning for around about 20-25 minutes now, and it's certainly starting to give off some heat, which is great news for using for the hot tent next weekend. It's also started to burn off those factory chemicals, and we can certainly smell them a lot more strongly now. The water's been going for around about 10 minutes. There's no sign of a boil just yet, but I suspect it's not going to be too much longer, given how much heat this is giving out at the moment. It's taken a little while for this water to boil, so I am going to try something a little different. I'm going to pull these back. I'm going to be using the poker to do these because even though the water is taking a while to boil, these will still obviously be hot. And I'm just going to put the pot directly on the top of the stove to see if that direct contact will help to speed things up a little bit. And things are definitely drawing through there, and the fire's still raging, so that's good news. Just something very quickly to mention here is that this wood stove is a very slow burner. This wood that you can see in here has actually been in there for an hour now. It's the wood that we originally put in before we started the fire, and even with the damper wide open, even with the door wide open, it's still burning through very, very slowly. But at the same time, it is giving off some heat to keep us nice and warm. Now, talking about the door, this doesn't give the best seal. It's not the best fitting door that we've had on wood stoves. And certainly the first stove that we bought of this kind from Princess Auto, we did end up taking back because the door wasn't particularly well fitted. This one's not too bad. It's certainly better than the initial one that we bought. But as I say, it's still not the best fit. Alrighty, I'm not really sure if that has sped things up much, but there's certainly some steam coming off there, so I think that's going to be hot enough for hot chocolate. So that will do me for now. And as soon as we've got a wood fire going here, I'm going to have a s'mores hot chocolate. Well, I'm just going to let the wood burn through here, let it burn itself out now before we head off home. I have to say my initial thoughts about this particular wood stove is that I do actually like it, particularly given that it was only $70. That's 70 Canadian, of course. There's been no paint peeling from it. Very easy to put together. As I say, you just put the chimney on there and the legs. It does need a little bit of babysitting when you first set that wood alight, and it does seem to take a while before it gets going. But as soon as it does get going, you can feel the warmth of it, and I do quite like it. I probably wouldn't use it so much, or certainly rely on it too much for cooking. You've seen how long it took to boil up the water. If you imagine trying to cook a full meal on there, you're probably going to struggle, or you're going to have the patience of a saint, if you like. So on that note, I'm going to say bye-bye for now. Thanks for watching again. If you have liked what you've seen, please do consider subscribing. And of course, hit that little bell so that you get notifications when new videos become available. Next week, we will be hot tenting over in Banff. So hopefully you will join us for that. But for now, take care, and I shall see you all again very soon.